There's a photo of Damien Daps Steele at the Season 9 ESL 1 Pro League Finals.
These deads, they can be deadly at close range. Daps about to show us why.
He's sitting at a monitor alone on the main stage, looking forlorn.
Such a disaster.
It really is, and I mean, again, in terms of building momentum and trying to get themselves back in the game here.
Almost as if he's struggling with the weight of a decision he had no control over.
Right after the plant goes through, and now it's all on Chocks, and he just can't even hold it. Daps will take him down.
In the weeks leading up to the Pro League Finals, NRG replaced Daps with Stanislaw, but with Valve's roster lock rules being what they are, Stanislaw wasn't eligible to play. NRG had to field Daps. In the picture, Daps is alone on stage, practicing with a team that didn't even want him and preparing for a match that nobody thought they could win. But if you find that kind of dedication to the game surprising, then you haven't been paying attention to Daps over the last 9 years. Daps picked up Source in 2006 as a teenager, and cut his teeth on a variety of aim texture maps and gun game mods before pub stomping his way through CEVO and CAL. But as the collapse of CGS set NA esports back several years, Daps took a multi-year break. His love for the game only came back in college with the release of CSGO.
The CGS collapsing was a massive setback for the North American scene. It was a setback in a way that all of our players of substance no longer existed overnight. It gutted the North American scene from a professional circuit, really. So it pretty much cast a very dark cloud over the future of North American Counter-Strike, and it took years. It took basically until 2013, 2014 to really start getting going, and even 2015. So I mean, it kind of took everything away for almost going on a decade.
Between 2012 and 2014, he fell in with Team Dynamo and Lunatic, two online rosters that competed in CEVO and ESEA events.
Darky's going to be last man standing for CT. LTK yet again in the driving seat this round. Daps he's cheating, no doubt about that. So
I'm sorry, but...
After a promising third, fourth place finish at the FACEIT NA Championship, Daps, Naf, Shazam, Fugly, and Juvenile were picked up by Denial Esports in September, and immediately bumped up against Cloud9 and iBuyPower, NA's top teams. Daps played with that roster for 7 months, 2 on Denial and the rest with Team Liquid. It was a crash course in leadership for him. He learned how to mold 4 disparate personalities into a cohesive unit. Despite admirable domestic results, Daps' Liquid roster couldn't quite crack the top 8 internationally. And so just as quickly as they signed with the organization, Daps, Naf, and Fugly were all gone. 2 months later, Daps signed with Conquest, a Canadian org that also signed Shazam, Rush, Naf, and Rix.
Are they about to pull it off here? I mean, Conquest did walk into a little bit of a stack up on this inner site, and Fallen will be caught out, and Daps is able to get 4 frags.
Despite their short time together, they managed to put up a few respectable results. And Daps was developing a reputation for being a solid player and a strong IGL. In particular, his eye for scouting up-and-coming talent made up for his mechanics, which often lagged behind the other best players in NA. But by far the most interesting thing about Daps' time with Conquest was his introduction to Stanislaw, who always seems to show up just as something is about to go wrong for him.
Stanislaw, great position and great patience right now in behind. Kirby hits the shot, hits another one over the ledge. That's why they call it the headshot ledge. AZ is down. Block versus, oh man, Stanislaw getting another crowd on their feet in round number 1.
What was that?
After Rix left the team, Stanislaw joined on before Conquest disbanded in December. Then Optic signed the roster in January.
I've been trying to expand into Counter-Strike for the past 6 months, and just recently opportunities started to pop up left and right. Out of nowhere, an NA team became available. These guys.
So the roster of Optic Gaming is Daps, who is our in-game leader, Stanislaw and Rush, who are our entry fraggers, Naf, who is our lurker, and then myself, Shazam, the opper.
They got off to a hot start, winning the E-League Road to Vegas and a spot in the inaugural E-League season. But after 2 disappointing showings at the MLG Columbus Minor and the Major Last Chance qualifier, things changed very quickly.
Dude, don't smile. Don't look at me. I said one thing. I said one thing. So one thing on the Ecoron. That's it. No,
but it was a collective attitude. Like, when things are going wrong, people can't just like get pissed and
people's comments go whiny. Like when you like die, like you get whiny. That was my fault, guys. No, it's not the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere. It's for you though. You started going at people too. Like.
Okay, we don't have the blame game.
It is. He's blaming me. Stop blaming him.
Well, we're just. It is everyone had a problem.
He comes straight at me. He's like, you.
Everyone had a problem at one point.
Like,
yeah, we got our game plan. We just need to win a pistol.
Yeah.
Never good. Other than that, just
And then they got eco.
try and brighten up.
The eco's
Pretty much it.
To anyone paying attention, a roster change seemed inevitable, and so Daps convinced Optic to take a chance on Mixwell, an up-and-coming young player from Spain. Daps didn't just vouch for Mixwell either, he also literally gave him a place to stay.
I watched pretty much all his games he's ever played to make sure, like, I scouted him hard, and the same play style persists in all his games, and he's very aggressive, goes for first kills, and that's exactly what we wanted, and he was good at doing it, and he had the stats to back it up as well. But he's living at my house. I bought a new PC so that he can use my old PC, and everything's gone well so far with our new lineup. Like, we're having a good time, and hopefully it continues.
While the roster shakeup provided some short-term success, things weren't looking so great behind the scene.
Duelo, porém, o Shotão tá com C4 e não pode morrer por aqui. Tenta fugir.
What's fucking going there? Like, shut your fucking mouth. This is so stupid. Like, we know what they're doing, like where they're going, but like, please chill. Okay, just don't talk to me.
Stan's really good player.
Right.
But under my calling, I think I hindered him because he's very good at calling or doing things when it's something he wants to do, and I feel like when I was telling him what to do, or maybe I was too structured in terms of telling people what to do at times, or I didn't just let him do what he wanted to. I'm not sure, but I think my calling affected his play negatively. That was kind of thing is like, do we get rid of Stan because like he's not doing that well individually? Or do we get rid of Naf because his communication at the time was really bad, and like sometimes he doesn't talk as much, but Naf is insane. So it's like, what do we do here?
Roughly a month later, after bombing out of Cologne, Optic dropped Stanislav for Tarek, another acquisition that Daps vouched for.
You know, he was very proactive about always trying to make the team better. That's when we reached out to Tarek, or he reached out to Tarek, and that's when we made the switch happen.
And then, a week later, Optic dropped Daps for Stanislav.
So we reverted back our decision, you know, to keep Stanislav. In the process, Tarek brought up a couple of points that these guys kind of knew were there.
What Tarek was used to was to an in-game leader that improvised more inside the game, and Daps played more like an structure based team where you know what to do before the game. You already know what to do, and you have to take your own decision every time. And Tarek was used to an in-game leader that tells you what to do all the time.
Obviously, you know, Daps to me has been very, very helpful. Like, I don't know where we would be as an organization when it comes to Counter-Strike, because he was very, very helpful and instrumental in finding the right players.
After building a team that went on to win E-League Season 2 and beating Astralis for a $400,000 prize, Daps was on the outside looking in and looking for a new home. By the end of 2016, NRG was looking to rebuild, giving Daps yet another opportunity to start over. Daps convinced PTR to stay with the team, brought in rookies Marky and Breezy, and reunited with his longtime teammate Bugly.
Like, to get the NRG team that we have now, it was a lot of like working with people and trying to put it together, because it wasn't just like it wasn't just put together easily. Like, I had to, like, Pete wanted to find a different org or team just to like get a fresh start, I guess. And I convinced like Pete to stay, and then I convinced Fugly to stay, convinced Breezy to join.
Yeah, I mean,
so it was sort of like a lot of inner workings to put it together.
2017 and 2018 saw awful LAN results for NRG, and with that came a flurry of roster moves. At one point, Daps even stepped down to coach the team in hopes that it would provide better results. Within a month, Daps returned to the active roster and continued to work with players like Cirque and Ethan, more rookies that he convinced NRG to take on. Slowly but surely, with experience under their belt, NRG began to turn their fortunes around, even climbing up to the 5th place ranking in the world.
This could send NRG packing once again for a couple of rounds, but Daps is here, and he finds 2. There could still be a chance. That's the bomb down, then this could actually happen. Daps, the in-game lead, is stepping up.
A big lifeline. Daps going to be grabbing the AWP and actually knows how to put it to good effect with a double kill coming out. Headshot on towards Still. Daps doing the dirty.
There is a player to his right.
Might have a shot. Does connect onto Oscar. That's a start.
Now left in a 1v2 situation. Bomb to be planted. 33 seconds, but the defense is on the way, and now he needs to stand tall and deliver. Oh, Suck!
Kirby goes down to Cirque. It's looking so good right now for the North American team. There's MSL gone, and just Valden left in the pit. NRG, what a historic performance from them. Ethan is going to take the last kill, 69.
Somebody, the last alive, and for Tyloo, it will be not anything close to what they wanted. It's a bitter pill to swallow. Bintet's already called GG. NRG have walked all over these playoffs. Dominant performance against Gambit yesterday in the semifinal, arguably even more so against Tyloo.
Leave last one for him. Oh,
damn.
short freeze,
Let's fucking go, Freiburg!
Yeah! Let's go! They've done it! I cannot believe it! I've never seen such a happy team winning.
Coming into 2019, Daps and NRG proved to be a thorn in the sides of the world's best, but never managed to make it over that third, fourth place hump. In an effort to break through the ceiling they were pushing up against, NRG decided to bench Fugly and bring in a talented player whom Daps knew well.
It's funny actually, like my first event I started with Renegades, I was checking in at the airport and I had my only pair of glasses and I had no reply. Oh my god!
That's what we love to
Fuck
see.
the story, dude! Holy shit!
Though the squad's play improved, it was clear something still needed to change. And then, rumors began to spread that Stanislaw was back on the market. It was deja vu for Daps.
So Daps being removed is, I have to say, a move I hate. For me, Daps is one of the primary reasons that NRG even got to this position. This is a squad which, aside from Team Liquid, stands above all the others within the North American region. That's what Daps was able to craft. That's how he was able to navigate this team into a very, very key position, the highest any team in his career had ever been to.
Once again, a roster shuffle involving Stanislaw, Tarek, and Daps saw Daps forced out of a team he helped build. But of course, before Stanislaw could play his first tournament with NRG, Daps had to play in the Pro League Finals. He set aside any pettiness and played some pretty great Counter-Strike. They placed third, fourth again, but this time they beat Astralis, the best team in the world at the time.
This is going to be a rough one. The X Factor is Zipex rotating back over to assist his teammate, the Demolisher Device himself. He's had a phenomenal event so far with some of the displays he's been putting up, but he can't do much if he's just on his lonesome. A 1 versus 3 with no time, no kit. Surely this is going to be round 16 going the way of NRG, as they will be able to pick it up, and that is the upset we did not expect to see that we are witnessing.
Then, roughly a week later, the cycle began again. Daps found a new home with C9.
Hi, I'm Daps, or Damien Steele. Last team I played on was Energy. Cloud9 sort of came out of nowhere. I was contacted, and they sort of let me... I didn't really get full control instantly, but they sort of just let me pitch my idea of what I thought a good lineup would be. So obviously, I sort of tried to build for Cloud9. When I build a team, I try and create a pool of people for like roles, and then over that course of time, I sort of sift through, I'll watch players' demos and stuff, and I'll sort of try and figure out if they're the right role.
C9 needed experience. They needed a leader, and they needed to rebuild. And Daps knows a thing or two about that.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.